I just got to get this out there because it's fucking crazy. So about the AI assistant, what you do is you talk to Andy Sheps, all the Jim Scotts, all the fucking major producers that are still alive right now, and you sign an agreement with them saying that you will use their voice for this and this alone. Um, it's an AI and it learns their voice. Now they've all got Chris Lord Alge, all those people have books and stuff. With the AI, it will read you the books from. Yeah, I mean you can order the books from inside, but like say you're working on a metal song and there's Evil Joe Barresi. Joe Barresi, he's known for working with Tool and whatever. You can go. I want to with a mic, talkback mic, and like I'd like to speak with Joe Barresi. Hey, this is Joe Barresi, and like the first time I work with Tool, blah 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 blah. You can just say, "Hey Joe," and I'll show up. Hey Joe, I don't know how to get a kick drum to balance with a guitar, and they each one that are willing to do this are willing to give certain tips. As but hey, I've got a YouTube channel. Would you like to watch it? And then like I've got a YouTube tip on this exact subject. And so like there's like a playlist. I know a lot of them have playlists on it, like how they mix an entire song. And so it's like, would you like to watch it? And from inside VARS, it pulls up a TV screen and you can watch YouTube their entire playlist of how to mix kick drums, how to mix bass drums, how to do this, how to do that. If you just want it quick and easy, like, no, I don't know what a threshold does. And it's like, oh, well, let me show you. And it can automatically AI assist, but it's doing it in their voice. And if you ever need me, just say, and so therefore, like, their books that they want to allow people to have the information, that's already in text format. So the AI can read it in their voice. So forever, from that point on, as long as VARS is open and running, they're alive and they're giving tips to people in real time. Hang on, let me take a quick little look at that. Okay, so what I've got here is like for compression and drums, and it tells you like some helpful tips about that between compression and drums. If you need more information, there's a YouTube channel, and I also have a book you can order from Amazon or whatever the fucking place is. And the same with Jim Scott and all those people. They can even also, like with Jim Scott and Joe Barresi, they can so. And if you really want to know how I do drums and stuff, check out my BFD drum pack. You know what I mean? And that can be a pack that they have, or like they have presets for waves, presets for. Hey, I've got an entire preset pack for this system would be called VARS, Virtual Artistic Recording Studio, because it's going to do all art, music, painting, writing, you name it. It's going to do it all. It's going to do all art, and connect with K.I.N.D to be able to broadcast and distribute yourself and be able to do it all yourself with no problems. With the free thing that you can get. And if you have a video card, I mean a webcam and a audio card of any kind, you can be as professional as anybody else. I would like to talk to the drum people. I have this new drum idea that's got. I mean, it basically the limits of number of zones. It decimates it. It destroys it. There's no limits. You can have about 127 zones per drum, which is ridiculous. You probably would have most, but you need about 15. But this will allow you to do it. And on top of that, you can make it where the acoustic kit, the mallet kit, the hand kit, the stick kit are dialable. They're all part of the thing. BFD is beautiful, but it did 127 velocities. Truth is, I can only hit a recognizable about 25 different velocities. And I tried again, I hit 30. So I'm guessing a professional could probably hit about 60. So if a professional can hit 60 recognizable difference, if you put some round robins on there, that frees you up a lot of space. Now with this recording studio, there's no need to record the room. You just record the direct drums in a fairly dry room, and that way you put it in whatever studio, and it sounds like it's in that studio. All the pieces are recorded with the same microphones and stuff. You get a linear dynamic because like IK Multimedia has a thing called Mic Room, and so you get for the overheads you get linear overheads. For the drums you have linear dynamics, so that way it can go for it's just capturing the sound, and then you can colorize it to sound like it's recorded through SM57s, old ass vintage drums, you know what I mean, old ass vintage microphones, and so that way it's the same drum sounds, but you can go through the drum mic. If when you get drum mic room, if you get drum mic room, it's all these drum mics that you can just swap out on everything, guitars, amps, whatever, and it just changes. You know what I mean? It's insane. It becomes insane. Um, they have the drum program Moto Drums. I don't like the name of it. I would want to change the name to something else. Um, Whatever, because I mean, just right now there's just a kind of a stench around IK Multimedia. Now, if you say working in partnership with IK Multimedia to create Equinox instruments, you know, whatever, you know what I mean, then they go, okay, I did like the sound of that. Oh, I see what you. So you didn't use actual. I mean, use like blank microphones, so that way I can change the microphones afterwards. So I can mic the entire mic kit with $4,000 microphones. Is what you're telling me? Yes, well, you can. I can mic the entire kit and make it sound like it was recorded with all just junky crap. Yes, and then also the plugins that would be compliant with the system. Like if we can get Plugin Alliance, then like all of the consoles, Helios, Neve, API, SSL, GJE, Pultec. I think I said API. There's just a bunch of different. There's several Neve ones, AMEC, just on and on. And then you have these different mixing, and so you can run after you change the mix. You change the the microphones that are recording the drums, right? So you want it to sound vintage. So you choose some vintage ass microphones, run it through a vintage ass board, and now it sounds like it's fucking vintage ass shit. And then you record all your shit, your guitars. You swap out like in Amplitude, it has certain microphones. Again, use a dry direct, a dry ribbon, a dry, a flat ribbon, a flat dynamic, and a flat condenser mic. And it's like in a thing that shifts and moves, and so you have all the different things. The AI can interpret between like several of the popular positions. So if you move it other place, the AI can make its own because it's a learning program. It just combines the two and makes an an IR that works. And then you run it through an old ass console, like a Helios console. Once it gets big enough, and like the original's free, and so you can buy all the different studios. And when you buy the different studios, like say you get the free one and you get Capitol Records and Sound City. You can take the echo chambers from underneath Capitol Records and put them below, because it's all virtual. Put them below Sound City, and so you have Capitol Records. Now, if that's where the expansion packs come in, you can make an expansion pack that's just if you like say you have Sound City, it sounds great. You want to record there. You don't want any other ones. That's the only one you want, because some people just are happy just recording in one place. You create chambers, and that will give you like Abbey Road's chambers, all the chambers from all the badass fucking studios around the world, and that you can just swap them in and out. And then, like I said, the bevels and that whatever, and bevels and noise traps, and that way you can hang them on the wall. The AI can actually tell you a good place to hang them on the wall to deaden the, like, we've run the calculations. Here's where you're going to have reflections. Put a noise trap here, a bass trap here, a such and such trap here. You don't have that? $15 you can get the noise trap and bevels and curtains pack expansion, and it works in all your studios. You can move it from one studio to whatever studios you have. You can move them through all of them. You don't want to do that? Okay, well then you're going to have these problems with the sound, but it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not the worst, but it won't sound professional. So, this is probably not going anywhere because it's 11 minutes, but this is just my idea. So the idea is called Virtual Artistic Recording Studio. That is the program that would be the video game DAW. Now, the one to resurrect machines like that machine right there. It is a 6-core, close to 4 gigahertz per core, 16 gigs of RAM. I've got 2 GeForce 550 Ti's and 2 GeForce 9800 GTXs. So I could run Crysis pretty well. So modeling one room with photorealistic graphics, one building, inside of one building. You're not going around town, you're not doing whatever. You're just hyper-real the studio. Now, in order to save people from being able to, like, plan steals and murders and stuff, and robberies and different things and whatever, flip some things around, turn the studio around backwards so you enter through the back instead of the front. And so if they do show up, they're like, aha, and it's just all backwards. It's all wrong from everything that they've planned. You know what I mean? It's just wrong. Maybe the echo chambers are upstairs instead of downstairs. I mean, just make things weird. So that way they just can't plan something like that. They can try, but it won't work well. Again, if blueprints are public record, we model it. We model the studio. There's nothing they can do about it. Instead of Electric Ladyland, we can call it Acoustic Man Water. Acoustic Man Ocean. Instead of Abbey Road, call it Church Street. Instead of Ocean Way, Beach Avenue or Beach Walk. You know what I mean? Instead of way, Beach Path. You know what I mean? And then, so therefore, and in Sunset Sound, Sunrise Silence. Sunrise Silence. Instead of the one down the Fame Studio and Muscle Shoals. Come up with different names and stuff like that. And so, and we just model all of it. We use photorealistic images if we can to get in there. And for the ones that are authorized through us, we do our best to actually go inside the actual studios, take full-on 360 HD graphics, like set one of those Google Map type things, to read the entire room, photorealistic, and map the walls and stuff like that. The those crime scene photo things, that would be the best. And then use some of the information like in SolidWorks. SolidWorks out in 2015 could do it. Build the walls out of what they're made out of. If they're made out of fucking sheetrock, they're made out of sheetrock. If you make them out of fucking concrete, they're made out of concrete. And that way, when the GPU does the math, it does the math exactly correct. And so therefore it will be like you're recording in the studio. Then that would be the great thing about going into, like, if you can get working with Plugin Alliance. Like if you're working with IK Multimedia, that would be really cool because they have Neve consoles and different little pieces and stuff like that. That's cool. It's really cool. So you got all like Neve, full tech, you got all that shit. So you can build virtual racks. The awesome thing about if we could get Plugin Alliance behind it is they have a lot of great plugins too. And if they would become compliant with our system, we could have like their mastering desk. We can make a master room. Like find someone's master room, like someone like that will let us use their master, like a master. Someone who does mastering. We model their room, model their speakers with IR, use headphone adjustment, whatever that, and model like all the headphone, like just from earbuds to whatever, you know what I mean, or maybe set a standard, you know what I mean. The audio ATH M40FSs are great, and so that's a great standard to start there, somewhere around like. They're only like $20-$30 right now, but they were like $80 when they came out, and I still love and use mine. Sienna, from our not Arturia, Acoustica Audio. They have Sienna, and it does room emulation, and it has a headphone adjustment, and it works. So that's already out there. So if we could talk to them, and they give it away free. So if we could talk to them, get it compliant with our system. Plugin Alliance gives away a lot of plugins for free. But if we talk to them and like, look, they buy it from you, you can use it in your DAW, but you also have it where it's our system. You don't have to do anything. We have a thing that turns VST into compliant with our system. All you have to say is that we can. And if they say we can, that means we have the Neve board. We have like 4 Neve boards. We have a Focusrite board. We have, you assume that there's no need to do any research or whatever because they've already done like 32 channels, 72 channel, all this different stuff. They got API, SSL, Neve. You just name it, they've got it already. It's done. And then for the individual pieces, so like say you want channel 1 to be a Neve, channel 2 to be API, channel 3 to be whatever, and you can still make it look all one Neve board. If you want it to look different, you can make it look different, but if you want it to be whatever, you can make, you know what I mean? It's just different. It's a virtual studio, so therefore, like this, there are literally no limits. Work on getting a virtual like keyboard, and the main thing you got to work on also is getting beginner, intermediate, and pro level. Beginner has to be better than beginner of anybody else, but around the same price. Intermediate, same thing. And pro has to be like, for example, the drum set that I created. Everything on is functional, easy to do. I know how to do it. It's quick and easy. We could have it up and running, and people would probably kick themselves in the ass for why they didn't think of it first. Same with this idea for the recording studio. The pro version has 15 zones per pad in for drum, and it's a lot of zones. The cymbals still have like bell, bow, ride, and choke because what else do you really need? But the toms have like all the different stuff. Toms and snare. That should be around like $3,000 to $4,000. So when people are thinking about trying to get like the Strata, which doesn't do like a quarter of what we can do, it doesn't work with VARS, our virtual artistic recording studio. It doesn't work with this new drum machine that acts this new drum thing that's going to basically make acoustic drums kind of a thing of the past because this will gap electric and this makes that gap between electric and acoustic. Um, and well, because one thing that's really holding people up on switching over to electronic is the fact that it's not even the sounds, it's the playability. There's so many more things you can do on an acoustic kit that you cannot do on. Right now they have at most center of the snare, like say a snare or a tom, the center, and then 2 zones on the rim. That's the most they have. 3 zones. Mine will have 3 zones in like a center of the snare, middle of the snare, edge of the snare. The rim will have 3 zones. Now in the beginner version, there's only one. It's got those 1 in the center and the 3 on the edges. So that's their best one that they've got, and that's our beginner model for $500 fucking dollars. Fuck you, Elisis and Roland. And then for fucking like $1,500 to $2,000, we have our intermediate level. Another thing I want to have, and that will be like, I mean, it'll have the 3 position sensitive, center, medium, and whatever of the tom, and the 3 around the edge, so 6 zones. Then the Pro has the all of those, plus if you can hit the shells and stuff like that, it's got different places on the outside for you to hit to sample that, as well as an optical sensor inside so you can tell how far the head is being depressed. So if you put your stick on the head and depress it and start hitting on it, just like you would in reality, it can tell all that shit. It can see all that. And I guarantee, because I guarantee if you put it out there, like, well, I guarantee you one thing they can't do, and they've tried and do it, and they'll be like, it did it. Well, I bet you can't do a stack, and it's designed that it's got the sensor, so when you lay a symbol on top of another symbol, it can tell which symbol's on top of which symbol, and it does the stack sound. Fuck their brains all up. You know what I mean? Just fuck their brains all up. And that's, like I said, that's what's holding people back, because once that's there, drummers are the only people, like bass player, he gets to change his sound throughout the gig. Guitar player, he changes his sound every song. Singer, he can change his voice and the effects on his voice and stuff every song. Drummer has the same snare, kick drum, toms, and whatever. I guarantee they would love to like switch from a tama, even if it's like just like I have like a high tune tama. I would like a low tune tama for this song, but it would take so much time to switch it out. I'm not going to do that. So I'll just stick with my low tune tama, and I don't bring out my high tune tama. But it sounds so much better, more tribal when I'm doing that. Well, you just turn a fucking dial on this, and you have that same kit. Just, you know what I mean? On and on. You can turn your 5-piece kit like mine. I have my 5 toms. It can be 5 toms. It can be 4 toms and a cowbell. It can be a cowbell, 3 toms, and another percussion instrument. It can be a cowbell, tom, another percussion instrument, another tom, another percussion instrument. So I got in one kit, it can be a 2 tom, 3 tom, 4 tom, or a 5 tom, and all those other pieces just become percussion pieces. I've got all those extra cymbals and stuff. If people didn't want that many cymbals, just take them down. If it was too many pieces or whatever. And that would be the key thing about the drum set is we have the preset prices on like $500 for the beginner kit. You know what I mean? It's more like the DM10. It doesn't have like the shells and stuff like the professional will. The intermediate has intermediate shells. They're not like the deep shells like regular drums, but they're whatever. And they may be also 3D printed rather than the intermediate has 3D printed rather than wood shells. The professional has wood shells and maybe like poplar or dragon tree. Dragon tree would probably be the best. Phoenix dragon because they don't warp, they don't rot. It's just environmentally whatever, and it's got a good tone. So, but you must be using it for triggers anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Um, but the beginner kit is as good as, if not better than the kit that I had back there that I paid like 1,500. I mean, it would be $1,500 brand new. You come out saying this is the new way it is. This is $500. Every kit, intermediate, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, they all can be upgraded to the professional snare. There's a black box that lets you, on each side, there's um, four inputs for the triggers. The box has got like a CPU, and all it does is trigger that note. I'm not going to get into it. So, anyways, because that gives too much away. But it triggers that. It triggers that, and it receives the incoming notes and stuff like that, and triggers it, and sends that to the main CPU. Again, another key would be to make sure that the drums are, we have our standard issue ones like the 2 tom, the 3 tom. Like the 2 tom has a ride, a crash, and a hi-hat. The 3 tom has ride, 2 crashes, and a hi-hat. The 4 tom has the same. The 5 tom has 3 crashes and a hi-hat and a ride. And then you do that with all the different models, intermediate and pro, beginner, pro, and intermediate. Those are the main models like they sell for regular drum kits. The difference being that we offer, like, if you want to upgrade your drum kit and buy an extra tom, when you go to add, like, say you have like 3 toms and you want the 4 tom, or you have 4 tom, you want the 5 tom. You have the 4 tom kit and it only comes with 3 cymbals, and you want 4 cymbals or 5 cymbals. They're like, hey, when you go to add those 2 cymbals in there, they're like, did you know that when you buy 2 cymbals, or when you add 1 cymbal, did you know that when you buy 2 cymbals, we throw in a third triple zone cymbal and all the mounting hardware for free? And then it's up to you, like, oh shit, I was only gonna get one, but I can get like, what's the price? Fuck, it's gonna be a bit more, but I mean, it comes with the mounting hardware, the cables, and the clamps. Whereas I'm going to be paying that. I mean, when I buy the cymbal, I'm going to have to buy the clamps and the hardware, and that's going to cost me extra anyways. You know what I mean? Um, I would like to make sure that it's being made, if it's being made out of 3D printing and whatever, to use recycled plastic. I would like to get, I don't know if it's possible, but even like sometimes like the impurities in metal make it stronger. And so it'd be really cool if it would make a weird color, especially a black and swirly with all like the labels and all that stuff in there. And there's like clear streaks and stuff in there. And if it was really strong, it's called plastic. And so we make like, like a keyboard like this controller, but it's only got it's more of a slider. It's got the sliders and all that other stuff. Phone's ringing. I'm gonna check that out.